Hello, and welcome back to Tyranny. Last episode, we delved into 2 spires and built a library. and we did also get vengeance for verse again. And we learned that we probably can't end the Edict of Stone, which is disappointing to say the least. I was going to try and end all the edicts, but we shall see. That being said, it is time for us to enter the Bastard's Wound. Wait, I can't go to the Bastard's Wound? What? Oh. I didn't click on the right button. That's why. I clicked on the map button. I was really confused there for a second. I was like, the fuck you mean I can't go to the Bastard's Wound? Anyway. Which, of course, means this is the last episode that you can vote for the Star Wars classes. Anything after this episode, I will not see before recording starts. You have been warned.
See that?
Ash really had you wreck this place, didn't he?
Yeah? Yeah, he did. The crimson-clad gang leader before you has yet to notice your presence. Their focus rests solely on the balcony above, where a broad-shouldered man in battle-worn armor shouts down at them, "Who goes there?" "Who goes there? You know who we are, boss." Step forward. The squabbling comes to a sudden halt as all eyes turn towards you. "Then who are your reinforcements?" Rolls points a finger at you. "Or did you let the enemy shadow you back home? Either way, wrong move." "Huh?" He looks back at you, his eyes widening. "Who the... Where did you come from?" "It's the Fate Binder of Tunon, you idiot. You know, the master of the mountain spire." His attention focuses entirely on you. "Although now I'm curious, if Warbler didn't come crying to you, what brings you way out here?" Fate Binding. This must be that legendary Fate Binder's sense of humor. "Look, I'm more than happy to help you with whatever task the Archons got you doing, but first I need your help dealing with, well, those idiots down there." He points from the balcony at Warbler and his gang. "A legend like you won't even break a sweat calling them." "What? I don't broke no law. I just did what my boss told me." "Stow it. The only meaningful law in the chorus is not suffering the weak. And you're weak. The Fate Binder here is just gonna thin the herd a bit. You meet your eye. Ain't you? Work this out amongst yourselves. If you're not going to help, at least stay out of our way." "Yeah, no."
Will do.
I'm not gonna help the fucking chorus. No way, no how. A group of unkempt, filthy commoners huddle amongst a motley of barrels and boxes. The heavy stenches of sweat, stale food, and grass cling to the still air. The presumptive leader of the group stands as you enter and moves toward you, weapon in hand. The approaching woman's olive cheeks seem drawn and sallow. Dark circles shadow eyes that survey you before searching over your shoulder. Seemingly reassured by her brief inspection, she lowers her weapon slightly so it's not pointed directly at your chest. Her muscles remain taut, however, and her stance that of a veteran soldier ready to respond to the first sign of aggression. You didn't bring the chorus in with you, and if you had favored, you'd have loudly bragged about your pedigree already. So that leaves me wondering, just who are you? Ethan Drake of the Mountain Spire. Truly? You're the one who awoke the spire? Well, I don't know what brings you out this way, but we could use someone with your power, if you don't mind getting chorus blood on your hands. You still haven't told me who you are. She blinks rapidly. That's right, I haven't. The name's Gwyneth. I'm the guide for this little band. Used to be more. Used to be a mercenary. But no one's offering coin for a blade anymore. If you weren't born north of the Gate of Judgment, ain't nothing for a warrior save cloth crimson or a mass grave. Dead or dead, as they say. So I stopped warring, more or less. What do you want? We need to get back inside the mountain. We'd come out. She falls silent for a moment, and a slight shudder runs through her. We'd come out scavenge for supplies. When we got back, we found these crimson assholes crawling all over the place. You live in a cave? Well, it wasn't our first choice of homes, but we've taken shelter in a nearby cave. While we were out looking for supplies, the chorus goons somehow buried the cave entrance with rubble. We could excavate a path, but not with chorus spears parting our rears while we dig. Help us be free of the scarlet shit stains, and we'll scrounge up some appropriate recompense. I'll see what I can do. Thank you. And now I have an excuse to kill these bastards. Sup? So I don't suppose you could not kill me? Fatebinder, you're back! Rolls beams down at you. I hope you're going to show these pups what real blade work looks like from the inside. What's that even mean? It means you're gonna get stabbed, you beast-fondling free bluffle! Lower the ramp and let's talk. And let them follow you up? No way. Lower the ramp, or when I get there, I'm going to show you your own intestines. I'm up here, and you're down there. I've heard a lot of stories about you, Fatebinder, but the ability to spout rings and fly was not one of them. How do you think I got to the top of the spire? You know what? I hadn't thought about it like that. Come on, Fatebinder, kill the kid and give us a show. Fucking no, I'm gonna kill you directly, because you have now directly challenged my authority and demanded that I help you when I am of a far higher authority than he. So, ropes are a thing, douchebag. Ropes are a thing. I don't need your confounded ramp. The gang leader eyes you cautiously at your appearance at the top of the balcony. I told you I can fly, bitch. Fatebinder, are you gonna cut Warbler open for me, or are we going to have a problem? Enough talking. You're siding with them? Fuck the arms, maggots! Got this law dog ass lick.
More tallies to the body count.
This is why you shouldn't order me around when I'm your superior. And then when I tell you to do things that are quite simple, to discuss things peacefully, you don't do what I want. Which means you're gonna die. Dramatically. In a fire.
Sorry, I can't.
You will have your head!
You wouldn't raise a hand against a warrior of justice.
Yes.
Step forward and be judged.
Yes, they would.
This weapon is like nipples on men. Useless.
Justice.
Harsh words would cause more harm than this useless weapon.
I need to try a different tactic. This isn't working.
Wow, they're not dead. That's really impressive, actually.
Could this weapon be any more useless?
This weapon is entirely worthless. On it.
There we go.
I got it.
Now, I've killed that guy for you. So, oh wait. There's an option to lower the ramp, right? Hello? The man bound before you wears disfavored violet crusted with patches of dried blood, the faint blue light of an oath-bound scout sigil simmering unsteadily through a thick layer of grime. He watches you approach from under a lowered brow, his features sunken and dark. His right eye socket seems a bit darker than his left, as if he bears a near-healed bruise and the sour stench of mingled sweat and urine wafts from him. Fatebinder. Apologies. Haven't had much occasion to say much today. Who are you? I'm Corherax, son of Yubera, oath brother of Marek, and currently attached to the 5th Boreal. Good to see that the butcher butchered. Would have been nice to do it myself, but I suppose I had my shot at him. He shifts in his bonds, wincing. Add the conscripts on the lower level to the pile of corpses, and I'll give you the intelligence I've arrived since coming here. I'll take care of those bonds for you. I appreciate the sentiment, and normally I'd risk it, but my arms were both broken and neither set right. I need a sawbones to break them again before they'll mend straight. So I can't fight for shit, and if you free me, you lose any element of surprise you'd otherwise have. It's a bad play. I'll see what I can do. Sup, shitheads? What a mess. There was a time when I thought this was all going somewhere. The butcher had some, some ideas, some plans. Well, at least there's the Oathbound. The Archon will appreciate that gift. Might even promote me. At least not ram a spear up my backside. Take your gang elsewhere. Now. Thanks, Fatebinder, for handling the whole butcher thing. He and his crew shoulder their gear and begin to march. This place is mine, and mine alone.
I got it. Found something. Ooh. Sorry, I can't.
No, I want to grab the purple rock. There we go. Anyway, you were saying? There's something profoundly wondrous in outliving your enemies. He grins, something feral in the way his lips curl over his eye teeth. Get these ropes off of me, and I'll tell you why I'm out here. I'll take care of those bonds. Thank you, Fatebinder. Rex straightens as he releases you. As you release him. And then his joints stretches, cracking loudly. He scowls at his arms, which were obviously badly broken and have healed, twisted by his bonds. I appreciate the aid. My team wasn't the first Iron Guard Akalos sent to this estate. The other never reported back. We were dispatched to recover whatever was left of them, but we found precisely nothing. No gear, no evidence of a fight, nothing that seemed a sign left for other disfavored to find. And then Rolls hit us, at night, by surprise, like a motherless coward. We had set watch, obviously, but one of his mages did something to Korax that kept him from calling out. It was the pain of him burning that woke me and the others. The only reason we were able to kill the chorusmen we did. No one else survived. Only the General's grace saved me. We canvassed this area pretty thoroughly before Rolls showed up. Only place we'd stayed out of was the cave in the back. The hole scared Rolls shitless, though, so he closed it up. He looks towards the jumbled pile of stone to the north. Wish we'd gotten a chance to check in there for the first crew. Then at least I'd have something to take back to Ironhearth. You know what, Fatebinder? I need to return to Ironhearth and report in. And get these limbs straightened out. No enjoyment in that, I promise, but at least it'll distract me from everything else. Safe travel, soldier. And if you meet me at Ironhearth, do well to stay out of my way. Farewell, Fatebinder. With a final glance at you, the Oathbound walks away. And I'm going to have to leave, because I got what I need for the Spire materials so I can research the Edict of Nightfall. Then I shall continue. La wound, la bastard. La bastard wound. The wounda wounda. The wounda wounda. Things getting weird already. Not a good sign. Whatever. Alright. So. Velos. That's what I need to speak to. And then Garis. And actually, because Lanitry is still wounded,
I can't.
Oh, 3 days. There's a cart with one wheel broken free of its axle. Several crates and sacks remain piled where the boxes rest. Approach. Boasts 4 wheels or did. One of the crates that fell broke open and fruits are spilled out to the ground. We already had that particular random encounter. That was a repeat.
Another battle? I'm starting to think we're bad at making friends. See that? I'm not entirely useless.
Come on. There we go. Ooh, frozen.
Too easy. I'm enjoying this a little too much.
Alright. Last fool's dead.
I got it.
Time to get the fuck out of here. Well, I'm definitely wasting time while I'm waiting the edict to pop. Because then I can cast it on the bastard tier. I'm fairly certain I can cast it on the bastard tier. And it's really good. So I'll talk to Verse. As still as an owl on its perch, Verse stares in the direction of Cacophony. A warm breeze from the east playing at the feathers festooning her head.
Fatebinder.
Almost no movement accompanies her subdued greeting. Verse?
I feel my sisters twisting around inside me, Binder. I can't tell whether they're dancing or trying to cut their way out. Or both.
It sounds like you're trying to justify your own chaotic feelings.
Maybe, like, all this passion, this wild, frenzied lust, it's actually coming from me. I'm just giving it my sister's voices. Or something.
She splays her fingers before her, apparently taking a vested interest in the grime beneath her nails.
It feels like all that's in front of me is a gorge so wide and so deep that there's nothing to see but wide open air.
And she looks at you.
Say we come out of this with minds and bodies intact, you've got the tears and the Overlord has everything else. Then what?
Then, I take the fight to Kairos.
Shit. I thought you might say something like that. Seems a damned foolish route to take, but it's yours to fork.
She renews her interest in her fingers.
The voices... I can't imagine him bending the knee to you. Whatever you've got planned, if you're walking into the heart of his power, you'd better be kitted for war.
Oh, I will be. He will fall by my hand.
Your confidence inspires. It's positively fucking infectious.
She smirks.
The Voices has more years behind him than a person can rightly imagine. If anyone's ever dug up a way to cheat the Void, it would be him. What if that way is me? We know he was preparing me for something. What if he made some trap door into me? What if he's hiding inside me right now?
If the Voices tries to use you as a door, I'll shut and bar it permanently.
I don't know if you meant that to be reassuring, but it was. That asshole tries to come out of me. Don't bother trying to set things right. Just slice me up and be done with it. But make sure he's actually through first. Don't gut me just because he starts knocking.
She conjures a grim smile.
Speaking of, any suggestions on what to do if I feel him creeping around in here?
Figure out who Verse is and stay Verse.
Now you're going to have me asking how I'm not myself? And don't try and turn me into a sage. We've got shit to do, right? Don't let me hold you up. And thanks, Fatebinder. Arcbinder.
Verse grins. I know I gained some wrath with her, but that's my plan. My plan is to kill. My plan is to fucking fight Kairos, man. Even, well, I'm not going to spoil things, but... All that being said... The research should be complete, and then I can go and finish the my quest. Yes! I've never had this available, ever, in any of my playthroughs. I'm so happy I have it as an option. It's so great. It's so great. I love it. Is it even an item in my inventory? No, it's not. That's fine. Serin. And then I'll give her the other trinket I have, just because I don't really have a use for it. Aw, I I can't issue an edict in the bastard tier. That's annoying. Edict of Malediction will twist the strands of fate, causing misfortune and bad luck to your enemies. It is overpowered as hell. But I have to end the Edict of Stone before I can use it on Narat. So, I'm going to finish my little venture in the bastard tier, and then we will start part 3 in earnest. It's almost as if you were supposed to complete this in chapter 2. But then you don't have all the keystones. Whatever. You don't exactly look quiet, do you? I suppose that ruckus means it's all taken care of? Clean and tidy? No longer a problem. Well, that's a real relief and a half. There always was a chance we get stuck out here. That the mountains would move again, or Kairos forbid, Cairn would come back to finish what he started. So Wags, one of our specialists, he cooked up an alchemical compound called Ocean's Fire. Burns as fast and hot as a Wrathcaster's spell. Set correctly, it'll clear the cave entrance out in an instant, but if it gets bumped wrong, say by some idiot chorus conscripts, we all meet the void well charred. Very well. I'll see to it. Thank you. Be extraordinarily careful with it. You don't want to be within 20 paces when the paste meets air. Hunker down behind some rubble up top, then lob it at the entrance. Oh, and don't miss. Oh, fuck, I need... I gotta leave, I'll be back again! I need Kills in Shadow for this. I completely forgot I need Kills in Shadow. I almost forgot to bring Kills in Shadow with me. I will be back with Kills in Shadow. Another 2 days, 17 hours, and 30 minutes wasted. I don't care! Who the fuck are you? Oh, God. Alright, well... Knowing how legends speak, one does not cheat and one does not challenge. One does not spite witches. Let me put it that way. So I'll play fairly. You stand and approach the woman, settling down your twine-bind rings and challenge. The woman grins, turns, and hurls her first knife, beginning the game. She seems quite competent with a curled blade, but you sink 2 daggers closer to the center of the gourd than her closest. Impressed, she offers you your winnings and purchases your next drink. I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, know what I'm doing. Alright. Let's bring Kills in Shadow with us.
Alpha smells good. Makes Beast Woman want to hunt. Kill! Little Chitterbird has pledged to Alpha of Kills in Shadow. He's good for Chitterbird's chance of survival, but bad for Beast Woman's ears.
She rubs the ridge of a pointed ear, eyes lost in thought.
Fatebinder wants Beast Woman?
It's time to hunt.
Get ready. wants to hunt, stalk, prowl, wants to kill, and howl for alpha.
Okay.
I'll tack homeward. See you
No
there.
doubt this'll prove interesting.
I will meet you at the spire.
Will lash, twist, tear, and mangle.
Okay. It's like, that's not creepy at all. All right. Let's see. Less DPS, less accuracy, higher recovery, but more armor piercing. Yeah. All right. Now I got everything. Now I'm ready to go into the... Now, almost halfway into the episode, we're now ready to go into the bathroom. Wait, where's the cave? There it is. There she is. Well, that worked. All right. Curious. The shadows shift before you in hulking masses of darkness. As they step closer, the pale luminescence of the cave fungi highlights blunt, bony features. Lips curl back over yellow fangs and violet gums, and sinewy muscles tighten as the beast's clawed fingers spread open. Another human. The largest of the figures steps forward, revealing herself as a heavily muscled beast woman covered in rust-colored fur. Her yellow gaze narrows intensely upon you, nostrils fluttering to drink in your scent. Does new human offer man flesh to Hillstrider's pack? Crying leather-clads offer more bone than meat. Made short meals for beast woman.
West River Alpha, but reeks of seed salt.
Kills and Shadow sniffs at the gathering of beasts.
These whelps reek of the old walls. Can Faithbinder not smell it on fur?
I have opened the cave for you. It seems to me that some gratitude is in order.
Does human think moving stones should make Hillstrider ache with rutting desire?
She chuffs, heavy dugs bobbing with her laughter.
Beast woman has seen strength of many great acts of war and hunt. Is not easily impressed.
You will let us through, or we will tear your arms from your sockets and cobble boots of your hides. She takes a step back, then dips her head lower than her shoulders.
Hillstrider knows gratitude. If human cleared pile of stones, then Hillstrider supposes human may pass.
Her packmates step to either side, opening a path. Giving the beasts long, hostile stares, Coulson Shadow snorts and chuffs at the pack as she follows in your wake. Well, it would be so much easier if I were an asshole, but I'm not.
Old walls down here. This isn't on any map I've ever... Oh, wait.
We're not alone here. Didn't quite finish his words there. The Fatebinder! How did you... welcome! Fatebinder! Good day to see you! The young man greets you with a smile as distant shouts reverberate through the area, steadily growing in volume. As you may have observed, your presence comes as a bit of a surprise. It's an unexpected pleasure, to receive an esteemed servant of the court. He bows stiffly, revealing a row of multi-shaped quills along his back. Sage Lanatry! How did you... Well, what are you doing here?
I could ask the very same of you. Taking shelter in the old walls, that takes nerves of iron, or wits of stone.
There's running water. If you don't mind a Bane attack now and again, this isn't the dumbest place to hide.
Scent of Bane is distance. Many beasts nearby. Explains why humans not terrified to be in old walls.
Well, this is unexpected. Though I'm glad to see you alive, my young friend. I'm not here to reminisce. I'm with the Fatebinder now, so I'll need to insist that you start explaining whatever it is you're doing here.
Welcome. I'm Scribe Mel of the Velium Citadel, though the title means little here. I am simply Mel. You'll forgive me. We haven't been expecting company, so, He taps a long quill against his thigh, its feathered plume fluttering nervously in return as his figures in the distance move in rushed tones and speak in hushed panic. What's all the commotion about? Well, visitors are always a cause for alarm. Moreover, you aren't just any outsider, you're Fatebinder. To many of us, it's as if Tudon just strolled into our homes. Your dispensation of justice could have profound ramification for a little known and, technically hidden settlement such as ours. Some of the refugees here don't know your intentions. No doubt they have little to fear, right? You only need to fear a Fatebinder if you've done something wrong. Like violating the laws regarding the old walls. Of course, I can see why things might appear that way. He stammers, running his hands clumsily over the scrolls along his bandolier. He snatches one from its loop and taps at it nervously. If you look at this drawing of the area, we are, by way of several fathoms below the old walls you see rising up. So who's to say if we're in the walls or just underground? Other than a Fatebinder, of course. I merely mean to suggest that there's some potential ambiguity, as if whether we've really done anything wrong. I'm not here to condemn the settlement. Yet. Well, thank you, Fatebinder. I will merely say that this is an unusual place and that its legal standing is somewhat unclear. We would never knowingly violate Kairos' law. This is what I mean.
We appreciate your generosity, Fatebinder. I hope you'll come to appreciate the wound in time. No doubt you'll have many questions of us. I will do my best to acquaint you with this outpost. Is there anything I can help you with? I received a missive from a Sage L that directed me here. Know where I can find this person? Sage L. Well, that could only mean Leximi contacted you, if I may, in regards to what? I would like to... I'll show him the missive. The sage holds the parchment for all of 3 seconds before nodding slowly. That's her handwriting, no doubt it. It's been some while since she penned her own missives. Master Leximi is sadly not amongst us. She vanished into the lower level some time ago. She wasn't herself. He furrows his brow, visibly distressed. Life here is rather complicated, and the old walls bless us with numerous mysteries. One of those is an unending sleeplessness, an affliction that drove her mad. Leximi? She's alive! So she survived the Edict of Fire! Lenatry's eyes widen with surprise, and you hear the clinking of vials as his entire body trembles. Friend of yours? Sage Leximi and I go way back. She joined the school a year before I did, so we saw more or less than the paces together. If she's alive, why didn't she try and find me? Rivals or friends? Both. We were chroniclers, so there was competition of sorts, but I think I'm allowed to say we got along well enough. Not that many of my friendships survived my politics. I was in favor of surrendering the school to Kairos. Hardly a popular outlook. Did you try and contact the other sages? Right. We tried not to cloud the skies with missive birds. That would just give the enemy something to follow. Like me, she probably tried to avoid detection, not light a signal fire. Last I know, she went into the depths of the old walls. To me, that's a death sentence, especially if she's no longer able to work her magic. I'm so sorry. I wish you'd stumbled upon us sooner. Maybe you could have reconnected with her. Her mind was dwindling, and I know she was fixated on making sure everything she carried out of the Citadel was hidden and safe. She and I hid one set cache over by the farm. Others, I presume, are deeper in the old walls. Leximi knew an old sage trick that concealed the stashes, making them fade from view unless another chronicler stands near. When her magic began fading, she made a rush to conceal things, but aside from one stash in the farm, only she knows where the rest lay. Farewell. Ah, well, Fatebinder, if you haven't done so yet, speak with Jaspos or Wagstaff. The wound doesn't speak with a single voice, but the two come closest to
Wait
such
a second,
thing.
Tidecaster Wagstaff? Is that what you said?
Well, yes. The sage pauses to give Ebb a head look and nods with a knowing smile. I believe Wagstaff will be most amused to see another Tidecaster. He's been here as long as any. Most of the folk credit him with making this whole place possible.
Oh, I'm sure this will be amusing.
As you turn to leave, you see Lanatry lost in thought, rubbing his curriculum ink beneath his fingers and thumb. What should we expect? She's an old friend of mine. And by now, you've already detected the understatement in my voice, so ask your questions. An old flame, I presume? You presume correctly. We were deeply intimate for the better part of 15 years. The school gave up long ago, trying to make rules against fraternization, and, well, we took advantage of living in the modern era of the School of Inconquil, where sages could do away with furtive copulation and foolish attempts to curb the natural inclination of scholars to rut. It was her magic I loved most. She was gifted, truly gifted. She could achieve these little accents on her spells that none of us could replicate. At first, I had nothing but envy and hate for her, but somewhere along the line it became adoration, and I just hoped to Kairos if I rubbed up against her enough, maybe some of her talent would rub up onto me. No such luck. That's gross. I suppose I did ask, though. What do you make of these chronicle fragments? My heart sings every time I can safeguard a text against destruction. Still, there's something bothering me about these writings. Let's look around a bit more.
Scent of pain is distant. Beasts and humans have tamed corridors as nest. Impressive. Smells of oceans here, not like other waters. Strange, like everything here.
A bearded, weathered figure stands by the pool's edge, eyes in concentration, his face uncharitably weathered from years of sun and wind, as a collection of deep, intertwining creases weathered by brittle-looking gray mane. One disapproving eye snaps open as you approach. Of all the shriveled barnacles to find, you...
By Kairos' swollen tit! You? What of Cambriel? Hargrivar? Don't tell me you're all that's left.
Step back, let them talk. They fought the good fight but failed the Cairn at the well. What's your excuse? How did you slither your way here?
They're dead. So the militants have fallen and you're all that's left. Fuck us all. Kairos really has won. And I didn't slither. It was more of a surreptitious crawl. Speaking of lowly vermin, what are you doing with this lowlife?
Lowlife? Why'd you address me, old man?
Not you! Her!
The old man jabs a finger in Eb's direction.
How did you let this old huckster trick you into her friendship? If you need an adoptive mother, there are less quarrelsome whores that would do the job with less backtalk and disease.
She works for me.
Figured she'd find a new pimp once Jade set sail. You should be careful. Eb's not just any tidecaster. She's the last in a long line of truly orny tidecasters. I merely dabble in bitchcraft. Eb elevates it to a science and an art.
Let's just say I have a greater respect for the inevitability of Kairos. Not saying I've changed my mind and wish I had hitched a ride with the flotilla of cowards. Guess I'm trying to protect the tears in my own way, as I'm sure you think you are as well.
You think you and those salty old queens you adored were the only casters unwilling to flee? You fools were just dumb enough to wave your arms around until the Archons noticed you. Some of us, well, okay, one of us still knows the ancient art of civility.
Remain silent. Ah, yes. What's more subtle than... What's it you're doing here? Restarting civilization in the old walls? Did you travel the tiers looking for folks who wanted to commit suicide by Bane but needed a group settling for that extra push to get it done?
Hardly. I came here to be left alone, but I'm just so damn charming and attractive society found me, and I didn't kick it out of bed. Don't belittle what we're doing down here. I don't visit you in your brothel, slap the dick out of your mouth, and tell you how to be.
What the fuck? The fuck is this whole conversation? Oh, my lord. Need me to give you two a moment? A moment? Hardly. I can't think the last time Wagstaff have kept up his banter for more than a minute or two.
Ever since you aged into that face of a worn tangerine, we've had all the problems keeping things up around you.
Speaking of improbable feats of tumescence, is that little apex boar of yours still ramming your stern on the regular? Aldenos died of his wounds in the Battle of the Gates of Judgment. How about you? I can only assume half the reason you're here is to find some new apprentices and fuck them. That's what I would do. God damn! This is so gonna get demonetized. Damn. Oh my lord. I am highly amused. Highly amused by this whole thing.
Well, yes and no.
Yes with the apprentices, but I don't know, I just might stay here. We've stumbled among something unusual. Not sure how permanent solution living here might be, but I'm trying to make the most of it. But your friend here changes things. Wagstaff points at you with a scowl. We always knew outsiders would come, but short of Graven Ash showing up, a Fatebinder is about as terrifying a notion as we've imagined. I assume someone pointed you toward me to speak for the settlement. If there are other matters to discuss, then so be it. I may not like it, but I do lead these people, frankly, only because nobody else can. That stone-straddling fool Jaspos will talk himself into believing he's up to the task, but don't believe his bluster for a moment. Anyway, I just
Ask the question everyone's wondering. What are your intentions with us? I aim to bring unity and independence to the tiers. Your settlement here serves my purposes. Ha! I'm sure you do. His look of surprise slowly fades into one of realization. Wait. Do you speak true? Why would a fate binder? Because I don't give a fuck. And I'm an Archon now. So, yeah. The Fate Binder saved us from the brink during the second siege of Endrian's Well. And no, we weren't frog marched to the court at the first opportunity. He embodies the... I can't believe I'm saying this. The best part of Kairos' philosophy. The desire to not rule a wasteland. What's the catch? Is this a long con to gather together resistors and kill them all at once? Yes. I could totally say that. And it demarks it as a lie because I'm so far deep into this shit. Kairos is either a myth or an ineffective strategist. Short of the Overlord showing up in person... No. He's definitely not a myth. I fucking know he's not a myth. Because the tiers deserve to be free. What does this mean for my wards and I? The settlement may continue to operate independently. Unexpected, Fatebinder. Perhaps your visit was worth the interruption. Making life without someone breathing down my neck is all I'd ever want. Thank you? Ugh. The court will extend mercy. Thank you, Fatebinder. I knew the day would come that we'd be discovered, and I imagined a much bloodier scenario. In this regard, I'm happy to be made a fool. Life here in the wound isn't easy, and we always assumed outsiders would bring death, not help. Your leniency is the sort of surprise we need in these difficult times. And though I never would have guessed this, your arrival may be the sign of good things to come. These people here seem guilty of little more than trying to survive. I'm happy to be of service. If I may take you literally for a second, let's say I was in need of someone who can come and go from this little refuge and handle some matters for me. Would you be willing? It's hard for me to leave things unattended, and if I were to perish, depends on what you have in mind. Well, there's an old rival out there, a sage named Phoebe. He twists a rope on the end of his belt, grimacing. Yes, we're from rival schools. No, this isn't the case of an unsettled score. I'd live and let live, but she poses an actual threat to the wound. She had knowledge of my plans to journey north to trace Karen's path in the mountains, which may expose us. She could bring a slew of homeless sages here, probably followed by a gaggle of spies, and it's not worth the risk. She needs to die. The problem is finding her. We have a mutual contact, Matelia, who used to spend the time of year in Lethian's Crossing. If the two are in touch, she'll be able to point you in the right direction. All of Bastard's wound would be in your debt, most of all me. I'll try and find her. One more thing. If you kill her, gather her belongings. And then I'll go speak with the other guy.
Can't do that.
Slow down. Let's take a closer look.
Yes! Ride on killing claws! Feed tribes' lands with flesh and blood!
Humans are wise to follow while beasts lead the hunt. Very wise. Smells Some suffocating tribes. Here, all tribes nest together.
Well, this is interesting. A broad-shouldered woman in disfavored raiment dangles against the nearby column, suspended by her wrists. Though still garbed in an iron breastplate of her unit, she is without helmet and appears unusually at ease with her compromised position. A nearby settler engages in friendly conversation. The last lure hooked that trout just fine, but it took the whole damn thing downstream with it. I wrapped the line several times, just as you said. You aren't fibbing, are you, Sophia? Need a hand? Looks like you have company. Talk later, Sophia. Good hunting, then. As the settler turns away, the bound soldier takes note of your approach. Fatebinder! I heard we had newcomers, but I wouldn't have suggested someone of your stature. I'd salute an officer of the court, but I'm somewhat indisposed at the moment. How did you end up on that column? Well, a few span back, after Cairn was finally declared rogue, the general wanted folks looking for what made Cairn lose his sanity. Or his loyalty, depending on your outlook. My unit played escort for a team of Earthshakers as they retraced Cairn's journey through the tiers. We were headed to the Gates of Judgment and came across a crevasse which happened to be, well... Good day, Yukudo. You seem to be on good terms with the locals. Well, they're rather lovely folk, despite all of them being Kairos-mocking scum deserving of slow deaths. Where was I? We paused to investigate, only to find this nest, this hive, trespassers living with beasts as equals, all of it an abomination. There was no choice but to put them to the sword. We fought well, but our advance fell apart when that coward Agron threw up his arms and surrendered. He broke ranks and left us exposed. If I hadn't been knocked senseless, I would have executed him myself. A book hoisted on this wall, and I've been here ever since. I already know how she's still alive. It's called the magic of Ash.
I wonder how many people had to die until they figured out which type of mushrooms were safe to eat.
See that?
Right there. Ah! The old concealed tusks in a pile of pig shit trick. Classic. As Lanatry approaches the corner of the pen, a pile of hay and animal droppings vanishes, replaced by a stash of scrolls. Now here's a subject. Why did they not do voice acting here? Whatever. Now here's a subject close to my heart. Histories of the School of the Ink and Quill. Who doesn't love a little auto-chronicle? Roll calls, minutes, graduation announcements, publication dates, and letters. Oh my, I doubt Sages Corin and Ostrek had any idea their correspondences would be immortalized for the records. Not the most exciting bit of history, but I can see why Mel and Lexamy would want them with the words of colleagues close at hand. Entry thumbs through the tome, chuckling with a nostalgic smile at each turn of the page. I take it this brings back memories? Indeed. Some of the notes even have my name on them. Ah, yes, here's my series on bird anatomy. I did that back in 388. Where have all the years gone? Do these notes include the parts where you conspire to steal our magic? A slight cough escapes Lintry's lips, but he offers no reply aside from turning pages. Well, do they? No, that seems more like sage pillow talk than something they'd write down. Thank you. We had to assume the Tidecasters might have spies. Come now, we're running a bastion of magical hegemony, not some cult of sailors past their primes with magic and hand paints. I'd make some counterpoint there, but you have met Wagstaff. I know it's also worthless in hindsight, but it's a record of our school, and that's whatever that's worth. I can obsess about these later. We have other things to do, right? I'm suspicious of everything we find in this place. Take a closer look. How can I say no to that order? With a smug grin, this old sage dives into the texts. Several minutes pass as Lanatry pores over the pages. Strange. All these names of dead people. Good riddance to some, others are lost. Kairos' loss. Anything seem incorrect? Sage Eldrick's grammar is appalling, but no, not really. Sorry, no spells or great recipes for grappa, just lectures, letters, and other sentimental detritus. I'm going to pick up one of the volumes. In this regard, Lenitry was correct. Countless sheets of parchment, all of its social correspondences and academic text in plodding, boring detail. Look for something out of place. You spot a page inked with a conspicuously glossy sheen, suggesting ink far fresher than the original writing. A minuscule crease along the binding hints at where the page was inserted, likely via magical means, to blend almost seamlessly. The text describes a debate between sages discussing the riddle of rings, and one sage, with the familiar name of Lanitry, is arguing that the riddle of rings posits that Kairos has already conquered the Tears. For if the sages speak the language of Kairos, Lenity reasoned, and use the currency of Kairos, then military conquest is an extraneous formality. What comes first? Okay, to explain this? It was 425, and Sage Cavil was giving a lecture series, having recently returned from his expedition to observe the forge-bound of their ways. At one point, he discussed their teaching methods, so the riddle of rings came up as part of his lecture. At the time, I joked that the real riddle of rings is aren't we already conquered, and I launched into a not entirely sober diatribe about Kairos' inevitable invasion and domination. According to this, I gave a stirring speech met with applause. Hardly. I was hit in the head with an old scroll case and told to sit down, shut up, and let the other scholars talk. Maybe your interpretation was the one worth remembering. Even so, this is not how it happened. You could correct the record. I could and I will. Just make a note to return to this. Until now, until I know why this was edited as such, I know the secrets. Wasn't expecting to see a fate binder down here. Name's Skiltos, protector of the farm. You may have heard of me. Not at all. So, you, need me for something? I think I can think of some uses for him if you're at a loss. My life is service, he winks. What the Stop! Fucking creeps. Stop creeping on everyone. Fucking hell. Fatebinder, she bows deeply. Welcome to the Wounds Farm, the only source of food within the old walls. Look, I got questions. You run this farm? This farm needs the whole community? Near enough. Gwyneth gathers some tough topside on occasion. Most people get their food from here. We've got a whole host of vegetables and some of the mushrooms. Pigs, too, for the occasional feast day. Is it? Keep everything orderly and efficient. One slip up and we're talking months on tight rations at best. These crops can be real particular about the type of water they like. Give them too much, too little, the wrong kind, and the next thing you know they're limp and brown. Is it normal for plants to be so picky about their water? Well, every plant is different, but the water situation down here is real touchy. Jaspo's filters work for the topside plants, but it's more or less what they're used to. Those stone jugs of his get rid of whatever makes people sick while keeping the nutrients my veggies need. Give that water to the mushrooms, though, and they stop glowing. Then they shrivel up. Not good for anything. No idea why. Wagstaff's water is about as pure as it gets, though, and the mushrooms take to it just fine. And with that, with us entering the Bastard's Wounds and beginning to try and figure out this whole water conundrum, I shall end this episode once it finally stops being at the load screen. And I will see you all in the next episode, where we shall talk to Jaspos and
start collecting other pieces of the Chronicle. Potentially figure some stuff out. But I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.